We've gotten through R and the A, so the rise and then the activate. We're going to stick with the same concept of activating and mobilizing the lower extremity. So the first one we worked on hurdle step, second one we worked on mini band series with the glutes. Now we're going to actually try to mobilize that hip joint a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go into an exercise and it's going to have a lot of different pieces to it. So within this, you got to pick the piece that is appropriate for you and your tension or your stiffness within that particular activity, okay? So the exercise is simply going to be a half kneeling lateral lunge, all right? And the setup is knees straight down, legs straight out to the side, and then this toe is going to be pointed forward, okay? Or parallel with your body. Okay, so within this stance, there's a couple of different things that we can do. Place our hands down and we can simply rock back and forth to create some mobility within that hip joint, right? So simply a half kneeling groin stretch rock is what you may call that. While you're going through this, make sure that this foot again is pointed forward and is flat on that ground. A lot of times, especially with our rough stock guys, we end up pulling out versus keeping that toe tucked in and flat on the ground. Okay, so simply a rock back and forth is kind of one variation. The second variation is we can do internal and external rotation with our hip joint, okay? For those of you that are tie-down ropers, this is probably going to be your favorite, okay? So if you're internally rotating a lot as you flank that calf and you're constantly pulling that knee in, you're probably good this direction. However, we may struggle a little bit when we go this direction. So there's that internal and external rotation, right? And again, pick which one of these best fits you, right? And then use that variation to open up some of the stiffness that you may have as you progress through your season and as that stiffness again starts to accumulate, all right? So one more piece that you can throw on top of that is some T-spine activation or some T-spine mobility. So within this position, we go back into this kind of forward stance. And from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach under and then we're gonna reach out. Reach under, follow that hand with your eyes, and reach out. At the top, if you want a little bit of extra mobility, exhale, you should feel a big stretch through that T-spine along with through that groin at the same time. So that's there's a lot of variations within that kneeling groin stretch that you can utilize to mobilize the hip.